In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how you can generate random samples using CAR dataset from the R dataset repository. Very briefly, going over how to upload the dataset from the R dataset repository. Click on Data, Data Import, select Dataset Repository. The repository is going to show up, and then you select the base R dataset and type in the data set is cars, so that's going to show up. Once you click on cars and then import, you will get the message that the data set is imported successfully. Close the tab. You should be able to, under the dataset option, to see the dataset name cars. So car dataset. I'm going to close data tab and then create a random sample using the dataset, the car dataset. For that, click on probability simulation, select option probability, and in the drop-down menu, select the random selection. Probability simulation allows you to generate a random sample of any size with a specific number of dataset that can be using all datasets or some of the dataset that is uploaded under the dataset section from the dataset repository. So once you select a random selection dataset, then click on dataset and then select the dataset file that you are working on. In this case, we are working with a dataset named car dataset. So I clicked on the distribution drop-down and selected car data. The sample size, in our case, is going to be create a random sample of size 10. The sample size text is where you are going to enter the size of the dataset, in this case 10. The replication text box is where you define the number of random samples that you're creating. In this case, we are only replicating once. The radio buttons replace gives you the option to use with replacement or without replacement. Notice if you select with, then a case of the dataset can be selected more than once. If you select without, then a case of the dataset cannot be selected more than once. So I'm creating a random sample of size 10 replicated once without replacement from all dataset that is in the dataset repository that we uploaded, named the file car dataset. Now, in order to see the random sample, use the eye icon to preview it, and once I click, you will be able to see the random sample replicated once without replacement, size 10. By default, the random sample is selected by all cases of the car dataset, but you have the option to create a random sample of the same size replicated once from some of the cases of the dataset. To do that, you go back to reopen the dataset, click on sample. This is how you reopen the dataset random selection. And then under the sample subset, choose to create a random sample that is replicated once of size 10 without replacement, case replacement, from all cases from 1 to 50. And then again, click on the eye icon to preview it, and you should be able to see the random sample now that is generated not from all the cases, but from the subsets that you selected, including cases from 1 to 50.